How's it going, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and show you every awesome setting to adjust on your Apple Watch SE to really get the most out of this device and really customize it for your own personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the list of the complete settings to definitely do check out, especially if you have an Apple Watch SE. Let's go ahead and get started. So real quick, this is watchOS 8, not the latest beta of watchOS 9, but I will release one in the near future once the official release is available. So quickly, hopping into the settings app on our Apple Watch, the first thing I recommend adjusting is the digital crown location, because in case you messed up on the very beginning when you set up the Apple Watch, you can actually go back in here and actually adjust it manually. To do this, just go into the General tab, and here you'll find the orientation section. Here's where you can actually switch your wrist from left or right. So if you want to go ahead and reverse and see what side is comfortable, you could experiment right here. But then if you scroll down, you'll notice you can also adjust the position of the digital crown, either left or right, and it will completely rotate the screen. The benefits of having the digital crown on the opposite side of the wrist is, let's say for example, you have a history of bumping your Apple Watch against the wall and stuff like that. It's best to have the digital crown on this side because the digital crown has moving parts, and if you damage one of those moving parts, well, your Apple Watch will now be permanently damaged. So to prevent this, it's recommended to have it on this side. But if you have it on this side, correct, the right side digital crown, this is just for cosmetic purposes. But I find it comfortable rotating the digital crown with my thumb. But for YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's more pleasing in the eye to see the digital crown this side. That's why I have it like this most of the time. Now for notifications, if we go back in the notification tab, there's a few settings here that I at least would recommend, at least be aware of. So like the notification indicator as a fine example. If you're getting tired of seeing a red dot right here, you could actually disable this and that will no longer pop up. The only con to this is if you have a notification you might have missed, you're not going to be alerted. That's why that red dot appears, to let you know you have some notifications you might have missed. But if we scroll down, where notification privacy, show notifications when locked. If your device is locked, it's still going to show notifications. So this is personal preference. You can leave this on or off. But if you scroll down where it says tap to show full notifications, when this mode is actually is enabled, whenever you receive like a text message, that's a fine example, the iMessage icon will pop up, but it won't say anything else. Unless you tap on it, it will actually show you the brief summary of that text body. Same applies for third-party apps and other notifications. So for a little bit more privacy, you can have that enabled. Personal preference once more. But if you go down to announce notifications for Siri, whenever you're wearing AirPods or something like that, Siri could actually like read out loud that notification. If that's annoying, you can turn it off right here. Now other things here, let's see, Nightstand Mode is something that I highly recommend at least others to be aware of. With Nightstand Mode enabled, whenever you dock your device, if you actually use this as your nightstand, it will actually display the time as well as the date. It basically looks like this. And the reason why it's red is because the watch I'm featuring is on the beta version of watchOS 9, which means when it's below 20%, it's going to be red. So something cool right there. But by default, it's usually just green. Now, if you have visual problems, you may want to enable the I and O's for on and off. If you don't know how to do that, simply just go into your settings and in the main settings section, so scroll down to accessibility and scroll down to where you see on/off labels. Enable it right here. And now all the on and offs are I's and O's. You can do the exact same thing on your iPhone too. This is for personal preference, but I kind of like this. Now, just like many other Apple devices, this also supports a handoff ability. Let's go ahead and show you how to enable that, and then I'll show you the specifications, how that works. So right here in handoff mode in the general tab, make sure this is on. Now, let's say for example, you're replying to a message on your Apple Watch and you take your main device, your iPhone, and you open up App Switcher. It will pop up down here saying that if we wish to resume where we last left off on our Apple Watch, you click on it and it will quickly hop back to that message you're trying to reply to. It's pretty neat. It works on Safari too. Now, an annoying feature that Apple Watches usually come enabled by default, and that is screenshots. Since the power button and digital crown are super close to each other, sometimes I will falsely take a bunch of screenshots. I'll just fill up my camera roll for no reason. If you like to disable that, it's in the general tab. Just tap on screenshots and you could disable or enable it right here. Personal preference, but yeah, that's how you can turn that off if that becomes a problem. And then of course underneath here, you have access to your storage capacity. So this is an Apple Watch SE, and you might be surprised to find out that you have 32 gigabytes of storage, and the apps barely take up that much space. Now the Apple Watch SE does have focus support, which actually is really nice because you can fully customize things to your own personal preference. As a fine example, on the fitness side of things, if you actually use your Apple Watch a lot during your workout, you can actually enable it so focus will automatically be enabled whenever a workout is turned on, like if you're running a lap on the elliptical or just strength training at the gym. So yeah, you can allow it to automatically enable whenever you start a workout. And down here where it says add new, you can also customize it to a custom setting schedule if you wanted to do it automatically throughout the entire day. And then if we go back, if you scroll all the way down, it says mirror my iPhone. All the focus modes you have created on your iPhone will be automatically mirrored on the Apple Watch this way as well. So if you need a larger display, you go customize it there too. Now if you fly a lot, if you want, you can also allow it so Wi-Fi or Bluetooth is turned on or turned off when airplane mode is enabled. So you have that freedom right here. And then if we quickly take out our phone and launch the Apple Watch app, and then just go into airplane mode, you can allow the airplane mode to mirror your iPhone or not. So by doing that, you may have noticed some of the other settings disabled, but whenever airplane mode is enabled on your iPhone, it'll automatically enable it on your Apple Watch, so you don't have to turn it on both devices separately. Now back on our Apple Watch SE, in the Bluetooth section, here's where you can actually connect non-Apple devices to the Bluetooth that is indeed built into the Apple Watch. So if you want to connect third-party Bluetooth headphones to your Apple Watch, you can easily do so and select it right here. Same goes for portable speakers too. Now if you're having a hard time seeing the small display, in the display and brightness, here not only where you can actually go in and control the brightness, I like to leave it in medium settings. That's the best one I see, works for me most of the time. But here's where you can actually select the text size, as well as make the text bolder if you need to. Now if you scroll down, you can see other settings you could adjust. This is pretty much self-explanatory, but yeah, you can disable the raise wake up if you don't like that. App view, you don't need to go in here to change the grid or list view. You can simply just like long press right here anywhere and you can select it from here. No need to go back into settings. In the dock section, this is where you can actually create somewhat customize your dock. So docks is this power button. Whenever you click on it, it will activate the app switcher. I have it selected right now to my recent apps, but if you like to put it in your favorite apps, like apps I use primarily throughout the entire day, kind of like bookmarking, if you actually go on your main device on your iPhone, and then you go into the dock tab, here's where you can actually select those favorites, and then you can create basically the most used apps. You can add them to this list as you tap edit, rearrange it however you like. So instead of looking through the entire library, if it's an app that you constantly use every single day, you're probably better off putting it into your favorites instead of recent docks. Now back to our Apple Watch. If you scroll down, you can actually tap edit, allow. This will give you the freedom to delete or rearrange some of these control center apps. In addition to that, if you need to quickly select between different Wi-Fi networks, if your phone is not with you, you can actually long press on the Wi-Fi icon. You can actually select the Wi-Fi network right here instead of having to go into the settings. And then going back into the brightness and display and brightness, if you scroll all the way down, you can actually adjust the wake duration. So if you like the watch to stay on for longer than the default 15 seconds, you can actually select 70 seconds. Unfortunately, 70 seconds is the max. Now let's go back and go ahead and talk about some of the Apple Watch hidden features. Haptic Chimes is one of my personal favorites, and you can find it in the accessibility tab. And if you scroll all the way down to where it says Chimes, enables Chimes right here, and you create a different schedule for it. So right now I have it hourly, so every hour I get like a haptic feedback telling me that it's 2 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock. It does this all the time for the hour. You can change this to 30 minutes or 15 minutes. I personally like enabling Chimes. Reason being because whenever I'm like focused on a project, I tend to lose track of time, but with the Apple Watch constantly giving me like a haptic feedback every hour, it allows me to actually stay on my feet and always be aware of my time instead of accidentally spending too much time on a single project. So again, you got that freedom, and if your Apple Watch is not on mute, You also can allow the Apple Watch to play sounds, so it'll play the sounds of bells, kind of like church bells, or a sound of birds tweeting. You can actually listen to it too. Think of this somewhat like a grandfather clock. Now let's go back and go into the Siri section. Hey, that word, you can enable that, so whenever your Apple Watch is nearby, you just say the name of the virtual voice assistant, the Apple Watch will automatically start listening, and it's ready for whatever command you want to ask it. You could either leave raise to speech enabled as well. This way, instead of saying the name, you basically just raise up the watch and just quickly ask whatever question you want to ask, and Siri will turn on. And of course, you can also enable Siri by using the digital crown. Personal preference, but you have 3 different modes to select Siri. And of course, you can also adjust the voice if you want to change Siri's voice as well. Now, if you actually use Apple Pay, one of the requirements is to have a passcode on your Apple Watch. But there's times throughout the entire day where I would put on my Apple Watch, I'll forget to unlock my device. So throughout the entire day, I'm like missing the notifications, stuff like that, where it's not keeping track of my workouts. If you like to bypass this so that your iPhone can unlock your Apple Watch when you're wearing it, you could easily do so by going into the settings on your iPhone and then go into passcode and scroll down where it says unlock with iPhone. Enable this, and now it'll automatically unlock your Apple Watch as soon as you unlock your iPhone, because the likelihood if you unlock your iPhone is likely high compared to just viewing the time on your Apple Watch and then forgetting that you need to unlock your device. Another great hidden feature that's worth mentioning and talking about is the fall detection. The fall detection can be found on SOS. Here is where you can actually go ahead and enable fall detection. So fall detection is disabled by default unless you're over the age of 65, I believe it was. But manually enabling it right here, if you would happen to fall or something like that, the Apple Watch will get a hold of emergency dispatchers, especially if you're unresponsive, and will send them to your location, as well as contact your emergency contacts to let them know where you are down, and it will show them a text. It'll send them a text with the location where you're located during the incident. It's pretty neat and life-saving too, because there's been articles and stuff like that of like motorcyclists who crashed, were unable to move, but the Apple Watch was able to get a hold of emergency dispatchers to their location. That's one of the reasons why you may want to enable this. I have this enabled all the time on my devices, and like 2 times a year it will do a false alarm, but the Apple Watch will get so loud that there's no issues, and it also gives you like a 10 or 5 second timer where you can actually go in and disable that alarm if it's a false alarm. So far, yes, my Apple Watch has triggered false alarms, but it never once has actually like got a hold of anyone because it was a false alarm. But still, on the SOS tab, you can also enable the hold side button to quickly launch SOS. So if you actually hold the side button, it will actually start a 5 second timer and will get really loud, and it will get a hold of emergency dispatchers this way as well, instead of you happen to manually slide. And then also down here is where you can actually enable your medical ID card. It'll walk you through the whole setup process. So if you want to know how to do that, you can find it right here. Now if we go back, you can also find the battery percentage tab right here. So this will show you your battery health, as well as you have the capability to switch, enable power reserve mode. But you can also do this with the control center by tapping on the battery life percentage. You can enable it right here. When this is enabled, this will actually allow the Apple Watch to last longer than a single day. And some have reported that in power reserve mode, the Apple Watch has been able to maintain a battery life for a whole week. So if you're trying to squeeze as much battery life as possible, this is what you need enabled. Just the only con is it's no longer a smartwatch because you'll lose access to all your apps, and the Apple Watch would just turn into a regular watch because it will only display the time, and that's it. And then to get out of this mode, just simply hold down the power button until the Apple logo pops up and it just reboots itself. Other fun things you can find here in the settings section, if you actually tap your Apple ID profile on the very top, you could actually go in and manage your subscription right here. So you don't even have to go on your iPhone for this. And then if you're tired of constantly getting like the breathe reminder or something like that, if you actually go into the Mindful app, this is where you can actually go ahead and disable that if that becomes annoying. Or you could add reminders if you want to add some more. And then the hidden feature is the hand washing. The hand washing timer is disabled by default, but this is where you have to go in and enable this. So next time when you're actually washing your hand, based off the microphone and the hand movements, the Apple Watch is able to detect that you're indeed washing your hands and will automatically start a 20-second timer and will congratulate you once you finish. Now, another cool health related feature found in the settings section for the Apple Watch is the noise decibel monitoring. If you actually go into the noise section right here and you have measure sound enabled, the Apple Watch will constantly be alert on any loud decibel sounds you may be exposed to for a long duration, and will actually send you a push notification letting you know ahead of time, saying that you've been exposed to this amount of decibel levels for this amount of time. Go to a quiet zone if possible, because if this continues, this is known to cause permanent hearing damage. So the Apple Watch is constantly watching out for you with this mode enabled, and will warn you that you should get out of this room or this area before you experience permanent hearing damage. Then if we go back, sleep also is pretty cool too. I highly recommend going in here, especially if you use the sleep tracking capability of the Apple Watch. I can scroll down to where it says charge reminders. By having charge reminder enabled, the Apple Watch will remind you ahead of time to charge the Apple Watch for the time needed to complete a whole night recording data logs. So you'll get a notification of your watch reminding you to charge because you're getting close to your bedtime. Allow the Apple Watch to charge so the Apple Watch can make it through that entire night and collect all that data. Now, another neat feature can be found in the workout section. Here is where you can actually go ahead and adjust the auto pause workout reminder. I highly recommend having the start workout reminder enabled, because if you accidentally start a workout, the Apple Watch will be able to remind you, and will also credit you the time that you lost while you were already working out. I love having this feature enabled. But the last feature here in the workout section I recommend at least be aware of is the voice feedback. So with the voice feedback enabled, whenever you complete a mile or you hit a achievement or some type of goal with the Apple Fitness, instead of having Siri verbally like announce like 1 mile completed, you could disable that right there if that becomes annoying. And the last one is the calculator. Don't forget, the Apple Watch does have a built-in calculator. Just the tip fraction and the percentage, two different modes can be located right here. So if you launch the Apple Watch with the percentage, it will show us this. The tip fraction, it will show us that. Aside from that, there you guys have it. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Greatly appreciated if you could actually leave the video a like, because I really do appreciate those a lot. It'll take a couple of seconds to do, as well as get subscribed, especially if you enjoy a lot of technology based videos just like this. And for the first 2 hours of the upload of this video, I'll be sure to be in the comment section interacting with you guys, so feel free to comment down below if any suggestions, future product you want me to get my hands on and test out for you guys. In the meantime, if you'd like to watch more, check out this video over here, as that is a accessory video that I made of the Apple Watch, that of some accessories that I still use to this very day you may actually like. And then that video over there, that is the video YouTube is recommending specifically for you. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.